Hi everybody, welcome back to today's episode. Today we're going to be making the little coffee bar that I spoke about last week, and what I've done is cut out a piece of paper to the right shape and the size, and I've just started planning how I'm going to have it. So I'm going to have a shelf in the middle, and I'm going to have counters underneath and a small sort of under counter fridge on the left with a see-through window. So that's my rough plan. I've measured it against my book Nook so I know the size, and I'm going to use this as a template. I've also made a note of where the lights will be at the top, just measured those again against the book Nook and just marked where the lights will shine through. And I've now used masking tape to attach it to the wood so that I can drill through straight through the paper where the lights will be. And I've also, if you can see, just under the counter there's a just under the shelf there's a small hole there, which will also be where another light will be as like a under shelf uplighter. Okay, so after drilling the holes, I've glued on a little shelf. I even put a little bit of doweling at the top because I thought it might look a little bit like a dado rail or something at the top. And I've put two doubles of the sort of square shaped pieces that I bought from Amazon, and that's just to give me enough sort of depth for the counter and the doors. I'm not making it so it opens this time. I think that'll be a challenge for another project. I've also cut out my top section, which will sit there. That will be the little counter. It's only a thin one, but that's okay. And I did cut, because I'd done it all the way across, hadn't I? Not remembering that I was going to make a mini fridge here. So I've just put this little thing together now, and that will be a little fridge bit that will go there on the end. There'll be a little door on it, and I've also done two doors which will go on the front of the cabinet. So let's see, I'm not sure if I'm making doors or drawers, so I'm going to decide what I'm doing. There's a little bit of a gap on this side here, so I'm not sure if I'm going to put drawers there or doors, but I'll decide that as I go. So I've glued all of the doors on, and the drawer fronts. Will need a paint eventually. I haven't put the counter bit on yet. I'm going to do that in a minute. So I'll probably do this after I've done the fridge bit, but yeah, so it's going to look like that. So I haven't glued the fridge bit on yet because I want to cover it in some silver foil and some sticky back plastic so that it looks more like a fridge, and I'm going to put a window in there as well, just so it's a bit see-through and you can see the little bits and bobs in the fridge. So I will cover that now, and yeah, I'll be back in a sec. To create the inside of the fridge, I'm using the sort of dull side of a piece of foil, and I've just snipped around it so I can just tuck it in. I'm using some clear plastic packaging for my window in my fridge, but you can of course use perspex or some sort of clear crafting product. I'm sure there are many. I found some sweet packaging for some milk cartons online, and I'm using these to put into my fridge. And there it is. I'm quite happy with this little fridge, and I love the fact that you can see the milk in through the glass. Right, next step is to paint it all, and yeah, let's see how that turns out. To make these lights, I'm going to use these little sort of they're little glass beads. Oh, a bit too close. And they're quite shiny, so they're quite faceted, I think that's the word. Faceted little beads. And I'm going to use the two of these to make the little light fixture. I've got some pre-cut wire here from my little roll, and I'm going to use some jewellery findings just to add a bit of interest. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to secure them at the back of the unit. And I'm only doing it for the top two. The bottom one is almost like a under-counter lighter, so it's not going to be as visible. I might just put something there just to hide that one, to act more like an uplighter. Okay, so there we go. I've glued the beads together on the wire, and I've left the wire to be long enough so that when I feed them through the hole, there's enough to sort of secure it to the back as well. I also found this little sign for coffee and tea bar online, and I printed it alongside with those milk cartons, and I've given it a gloss finish with a bit of Mod Podge, and it's looking good, so I've glued it in between the lights there. And now to make the coffee machine, I'm going to use this chocolate box packaging. And I've noticed that it has some really interesting shapes inside it, so this is going to make my life so much easier. So I've got my little bits ready for the coffee machine. This is going to be the base tray, which was cut from the chocolate box. I've made this little back piece with foil and a bit of the chocolate box that went, you know, the different sizes I had on the chocolate box. This, you know, was one of the sections, and I've just put a little bit of detailing on it. I also add some buttons when I've stuck it all together. And I've made this top part which will act as the top of the coffee machine, and this will go in the base plate. I'm going to make a few grates in there so it looks like the base that will go into there to create like a grated bit. I'm going to put a little bit of clay, some air drying clay, into the base there to give it some weight, and also so it will support this when it's actually at the back there. You'll see what I mean in a second. I'm just going to get the clay out and I'll push it into the gap and I'll show you. Okay, so I've pushed some air drying clay into the little gap, and when it dries it will shrink a little bit, but it will hopefully hold that. I will glue that sort of straight top piece in as well, just so it has a bit more you know, oomph to it, and it holds it in place. This will slot at the front there, but I don't want to put that on until that's dry, and also I need to cut the grates into that as well. I might even put a bit of clay in that top section to give that a bit of weight as well, maybe, but then I don't want to weigh that down, so I'll have to see how that one works out. But yeah, that's it. I've allowed the air drying clay to dry, and I've just gone round the edges and the parts that you'll see in black pen, just so that it covers up you know, any visibility. I also prepared a few little bits for my buttons, and here is the grate that I'm putting onto the coffee machine. And here it is, all complete with buttons. I made a little kettle using the top of a drinks bottle. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to record that part, so you only get to see it right at the end when I've finished it all, so I do apologise. For little details, I also made a few cups out of polymer clay, some donuts and a little plate of cookies. To make a little vase of flowers, I just cut some thin wire to a certain length, and I used old paper flowers that I'd ripped off another project, and I've wrapped them around the wire to create the look of flowers. I'm just going to paint over the wire into a nice green colour so they look like stalks. These little small glass jars, and I made lids out of polymer clay. I filled one with coffee and the other one I made tiny little tea bags. In order to do that, I used a piece of tissue and I cut it into tiny little sort of square shapes, and I just used a black pen just to make small dots to make it look like tea. Like that, but I will glue them on. Unfortunately, I just noticed that that one's slightly bent at the top, but never mind, you won't really notice that. There we go, it's all done. Got a little fridge at the bottom, drawers, coffee machine, kettle. little sugar bowl, some donuts and some cookies, honey pot, teaspoon, and then up to the top we've got coffee and tea. We've got little tea bags, if you can see them there. And we've got a wand, we've got cups, and we've got another teaspoon. Got some flowers. I do wish that glue had dried clear, but it didn't. Never mind. Some coffee. There we go. I'm quite happy with our little coffee and tea bar. And that's going to go into the back of the book Nook. And here it is, our little coffee bar. It looks ever so cute and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. If you've enjoyed today's video, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more, because I've got a lot more to make, and next time we'll be doing a little bit more on the upstairs. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.